Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm Taylor Gonzalez, and my guest today, you know her, you love her. She has her own playlist here on the channel. Voice actor and one of my very best friends, Kris Carr, is here. How are you doing today, Kris?
So good, Tay. So good to see you. It's been a
Oh, good to see
minute,
you. I know it's been since Comic-Con.
which is
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, time has flown by since. Did you get sick?
I didn't, which I made fun of everyone so much. I made fun of him so much because Ray got sick. Ray Ora got sick, and I was like, "How? I was there longer than you." I think it's because I avoid the floor because it's too many people for me. I
Oh,
spend a lot of time outside.
oof. I
Yeah.
spent a
Did you
lot of
get con
time.
crud?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on the floor. I waited an hour and 40 minutes for some Futurama pins, but we don't need to talk about that. But I got home and like the next day I was like, oh, I don't feel so good. And then I fell asleep with the fever for 3 days.
Oh,
Isn't
oh
that
my
crazy?
God. That's
So
horrible.
I know Gene and David took very good care of me, but
Oh,
now we know next year, I don't know.
it's
Don't get
crazy.
near me.
Can we also talk about there was like an hour line to maybe win free sunscreen? Did you see that?
No, that's
It was
hilarious though.
insane. We saw
My
all these
God.
people lined up and we were like, oh my God, this must be something really cool. No, it's a spin to win banana boat. And it was right near a CVS too. It was like, just go inside and buy sunscreen. Don't spend an hour
Shenanigans.
out here.
Yeah. Oh my
It's like,
God.
hmm,
Yeah. Well, I guess we should say what you're here to talk about. I
probably.
forgot to
I'm just
say
like,
in the
I
introduction.
just miss you.
She's
So
just
I'm
here.
here.
Well, Kris is going to be in the upcoming 10 episode fully, fully immersive audio drama, True Noir, playing the character of Mary Ann Beame. Kris, I am so excited for this. I've been following along the whole way, even getting to visit and watch the Comic-Con panel in the front row. So I'm like so excited to see how this is going to come together. How did you get involved with this project?
Oh man, I got really lucky. Robert Meyer Burnett, who we both know and love, Papa Rob, he is one of those people who, you know how in Hollywood everyone says, like, we're going to do something together, we're going to make something together, and it never happens. And he's one of the few people who actually does stuff, which is crazy to me. So he had told me that he wanted to do this proof of concept for this noir thing, working with Max Collins, who wrote the Nathan Heller books. And so myself, my husband Logan, we came in to just do extra voices basically for it, where it was a couple other name actors and then us kind of there to fill in all of those co-star bit parts and things. Proof of concept really went well. They loved Logan. It was really fun. They had a good time with him. He played this ridiculous cop, which was just kind of this ridiculous Chicago caricature. But the proof of concept went really well. And so they asked both of us to come back to do the actual show, which was really cool. I had no idea, though, that he was going to give me a lead. I just figured, oh yeah, I'll come back and I'll do my usual voiceover thing because I'm like an NPC voiceover actor, right? I play a lot of just like, here's this random girl, here's this random cat. I figured that what I'd be doing in here. And instead, I'm Nathan Heller's love interest, which
Oh
was
yeah.
wild to me. And we have some spicy scenes, which is not particularly new for coming from anime, but it is some of the more suggestive stuff I've done before. Mm.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
it's
very
it's a weird day making those noises into a microphone and being like, okay, all right, let's just try to make this as realistic and not cringy as possible.
I am very much looking forward to this collaboration between you and Rob. I think it's such a cool idea, and I loved that proof of concept. He sent it to me, and I think I even used like these headphones because I really wanted to hear that sound mix that he was talking about. It sounds great. I
Did
think
a
like the
killer job.
yeah, just really good quality, and cannot wait for the full thing. Without giving too much away, what can you tell us about your character of Mary?
Oh, so much. Oh my gosh. So basically, Mary Ann is a actress living in Chicago. She works on what's called a sudser, so a kind of old timey radio soap opera, and she does some voices on that. So she is an independent woman living in Chicago. She hires Nathan Heller to find her brother who's gone missing. And that's how they kind of get introduced and intermingle with each other. And she basically is there to serve as this moral compass or presumed moral identity that Nathan could have. She sees him as this great guy. She thinks he's wonderful. She thinks that he is always in the pursuit of justice. And it's Chicago. back in the day where corruption just ran rampant. So that's not always the case. Nathan's a guy who gets his hands dirty and he tries to keep a lot of that from Mary Ann, and she just views him completely with rose-colored glasses.
Very nice. She sounds like a fun character,
She's
and I cannot
great.
wait to hear. Uh, for people who aren't familiar with the format of an audio drama, because I've tried to explain it to people, and they always ask me like, "Is it like a podcast? Is it an audiobook?" And I'm like, "Well, it's kind of both, but then it has like more like sound effects and music and stuff to go along with it." How would you describe to someone who's never heard of an audio drama what it is?
Oh, great question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Basically, if we're going way back in the day, there was this amazing moment in history where War of the Worlds was played on the radio. And it was so realistic to folks that they thought there was an actual alien invasion coming.
Wait, it wasn't real?
I mean, jury's out, right? There's all that UFO stuff popping up now. So we used to sit around the radio and listen to these wonderful stories and be completely immersed in that and listen to that. We since then have television, all these other kinds of things, and podcasts. Podcasts typically, though, are all of us just talking to each other, right? We've seen this big trend now in having audio dramas or narrative podcasts. What really sets ours apart is it feels like an audio movie. It is incredibly cinematic in scale and scope. You hear people walking around, you hear the environment that everybody's in. Every action has a sound effect that goes with it. So it feels like you just turned the lights off and you can absolutely be in that space and in that world, which is a tricky thing to get people to really sit down and listen to, I think, too, because a lot of times with audiobooks, you put it on when you're, washing dishes or maybe when you have a long drive or something like that. This is something where we definitely want you to put your headphones on because you get the best sound quality and really listen to everything, because then you get completely immersed. It's a lot like, in a way, when you're part of a really good D&D campaign and you have a really great DM who just sets the tone and tells you what's going on. Oh, this branch broke in the distance. Oh, you can hear this howl over here. We're doing that, but with the technology that we have, so that we can have this incredible soundscape around you so that you're part of the story. You feel like you're in the streets of Chicago back in the day.
Yeah, it does really sound really immersive. And I will put a link to the proof of concept that's on Rob's channel in the description of this video, so people who haven't had a chance yet to listen to it can listen to it. But yeah, I highly recommend using headphones because it just sounds great. What are some of your favorite audio dramas that maybe you would recommend to someone who's looking to get into this format?
Ooh, there is a great one by Marvel. There's a Wolverine one out that you can listen to on Spotify, and it is Richard Armitage
Ooh,
who
okay.
is voicing Logan in it, and it is phenomenal. I I love Marvel, and so anytime I get to listen to those kinds of stories, I love that. They do an excellent job giving you that same kind of immersive experience, to the point where they actually did their fight choreography and they just had mics everywhere. So all of those fight scenes feel so lived in and really, really cool. And then, shameless plug, I would also recommend checking out Marvel Move. If you're a little
Yeah.
wary of sitting down for an audio drama, Marvel Move is a kind of fitness podcast. It's on an app. It's the same people who did Zombies Run. So you get to run through, like the streets of New York. You get to be in Hell's Kitchen and help Daredevil. And I'm in that. So I'd like you to listen to that very much, please.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. I think that both of those sound really cool, and I'll definitely check them both out. The cast of True Noir includes a crazy, crazy like lineup. You have Katee Sackhoff, you have Anthony. I cannot pronounce the last name.
LaPaglia.
That's something I meant to ask you before we
Yeah, no,
recorded.
Anthony
LaPaglia,
LaPaglia.
there we go. You have Louis Lombardi, and then you have the recently announced Barry Bostwick as FDR. Very
It's crazy.
crazy. What was it like working with this incredible cast?
It's been really cool. Anthony LaPaglia is hilarious. I didn't get to meet him in person until Comic-Con, until our panel, and he is so funny and he's such a delight. Louis Lombardi is the sweetest man
Did you know he has
in the
a
universe.
pizza restaurant?
Did you know he has a pizza company with his daughter? Which his daughter is an absolute doll too. Oh my gosh,
Aw.
everyone's amazing. For the most part too, I got to work with this wonderful actor Corey, who was helping me with the Nathan Heller lines and just kind of giving me somebody to read off of. The best part of that is so much of the time in voiceover, because again, this is what my background is in predominantly. Most of these actors are stage and screen. Most of what I do is this.
Mm.
And usually I'm by myself. I'm just kind of shouting in my booth is right over here. We can do a little pan. I'm usually
Aw.
just in that padded room by myself and trying to assume what the other person is saying or react in a way that leaves it to make it feel like this could be an actual dialogue with another actor. But you're usually alone. The closest I've been to something like this was, again, my Marvel thing where we recorded on Riverside, but I still was here. Everyone else was in London and we didn't have our cameras on, so you couldn't see each other. So this was so cool to be actually across from somebody, just kind of the way you do a table read or the way that you would do a play, and have them interacting with you right then and there. Um, and I mean, I'm biased, but getting to do that with Logan in the proof of concept, because I think we have pretty good chemistry. Otherwise, we married the wrong people. But being able to just like jump into different characters with him and kind of yes and each other on the mic in real time, that stuff is so cool. And the people that Rob has been getting for this have just been insane, and they're all tremendous actors. One actor in this too, I'm not going to say who, but this was their first voiceover ever.
Oh, really?
Ever.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
did. And it's somebody who's done so much work that I admire. So it's really cool that we're all getting to kind of experience this medium in such a different way than we usually do or have ever done.
Yeah, that is very cool. Where did you guys record?
Oh, this amazing studio. Gosh, I have to look up the name. I'm so sorry, Taylor.
No, it's okay.
I totally should have had this already set to go. Ba, 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 ba. Is this good content? Is me Googling?
Yeah, no, this is really good. This is really good.
Perfect. Excellent. I'm so happy to do this.
Do you want to hear a story while you're looking it up?
Yes, please.
We can leave this in. Yesterday, I
Oh my
took
God.
June to the dog beach, and it was such a wonderful, lovely, romantic day at the beach. And then I noticed there were a lot of bees like on the ground. And I told David, I was like, there's a lot of bees at the beach today, which is kind of like unusual, right? 5 seconds later, I was like, oh, fuck. And I got stung by a damn bee on my pinky toe, but like on the bottom of it. This is the third time I've been stung by a bee on the bottom of my foot. So we had to leave. And right now, while you're Googling the name of the studio, my pinky toe is throbbing because I forgot to take Tylenol before we recorded.
No.
So hopefully that was a long enough story to to help you find it.
I'm trying to find my call sheet and I'm just like, where is it? Oh my gosh. Okay. It's this really cool old Victorian house here in LA that has been converted to sound studios, and it's gorgeous. And everyone who works there is so nice.
Oh.
There's also a dog there.
Oh.
I'm just sucker for like a studio dog. Love when that happens. But really, really cool space where you could, walk around if you needed to. There were a couple different rooms, but we were in this really big one where Rob and some of the other creators and stuff could sit out there kind of gallery style and listen in on us. And then we were off in this other sound room all together. It was just really cool. And it's a beautiful, beautiful venue.
So cool. Yeah, that sounds very fun. So we talked about the recording process. We talked about your character. I was wondering, how is an audio drama different from the types of voice acting that you're used to, such as a TV show or a video game? Because like with those, you have kind of, well, what was the one you did where it was like Thanksgiving? Was that the one?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Oh my God, that game was so fun.
I love
How
that
would you
game.
say when you're voice acting for something like Thanksgiving is different from something like this?
Oh, wow. So, first of all, shout out Scott O'Neill because that is his game. That's killer. I
So
love that game
fun.
so much. It's so fun. It's such a good horror throwback. What's really different is I got time to spend with this script in its entirety. So, a lot of times in voiceover, you're only given your lines or maybe just your pages. Uh, that game, I at least got to know a little bit more because Scott's a good friend of mine and kind of gave me the rundown and everything. But for the most part, it was here's your 5 lines, give me 3 versions of it, and I'll let you know if I need redirects. Right. When I go in and I do other games like Maple Story or Blade and Soul, those kinds of things, I only get my lines. I have no one else's lines. And so it's just all that character's lines. And then I go to the next page and go, oh, okay. And this one, that's when I'm that bunny warrior. Great. Oh, okay. And then over here, this is when I'm that old woman. And it's just my stuff. And I get it on the day. So that's where improv and knowing your voices and everything really has to come into play, just so you can immediately make a strong choice and then see if that works for the director. And if it doesn't, okay, pivot, make another strong choice. I had this script for weeks, like all of the scripts too. I was getting everything sent to me. So I knew everything that happened in the series. Nothing was a surprise to me. And I got to actually spend time building this character and learning her and figuring out what I wanted to do with her, talking to Rob about how far we wanted to go with the dialect too, because, she is an actress. She's from a certain time period where a lot of people used that kind of transatlantic thing. And so it was how Judy Garland do we want to make her? How Katharine Hepburn do we want to make her? Do we want any of that? Because Max had notes in there about how she speaks in a kind of affected way. So we get to play around a lot more than when I usually just jump into the booth and I get very blue collar about it. And I'm like, okay, boss, what do you want? Let's go. Let's do a voice. This I got to have a lot more of a process than usual.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that sounds very, very helpful. So I'm glad I
Yeah.
asked that because I figured I was like, there's probably some differences with this project, but yeah, sounds very, very
Massive.
helpful.
Yeah.
So, as part of the promotional campaign for True Noir, as we mentioned earlier, you were on your very first San Diego Comic Con panel,
Yeah.
and you didn't get sick, unlike me. I got sick at Comic Con. I got stung by a bee. I'm falling apart over here.
You're having a
But
bad time, babe.
what was your favorite part of the Comic Con panel that you got to do?
Oh, man. Well, one, it was just wild to me that people came to our panel because it happened during Deadpool and Wolverine, which I was like, no. And that's when, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds surprised everybody with the screening. The best part, honestly, was it was so nice to meet people who were familiar with some of my work in real life. And they were all so nice and kind. And I couldn't believe that they were spending time to talk to us about this and learn this. Honestly, the biggest thing, I'm a big old dork. I wanted to work for Comic Con. That was my big thing coming out of college was, okay, I'm a communications major. I did all of my like source, my big like symposium papers and my thesis on comic book related stuff. I wanted to work for Comic Con. And then that didn't really pan out. Uh, I started acting instead, which I've very much enjoyed, but I've always loved Comic Con. And so just being able to be on a panel and be part of that was really magical. I have Logan stole my
Oh
little
yeah.
placards,
Aw,
which are so cute. And like this was something that was just, oh, I might cry. Like I might
aw.
actually cry seeing these because I've been going to Comic Con since 2010, I
Oh
think
wow.
was my first one. I love it there. So it was just really, really magical to do that and see everybody. And also it's so cool just being an industry person now and getting to go and shout out your friends, right?
Mhm.
Like how cool was it going and seeing Scott's booth
Yeah.
and being like, hell yeah, my friend is crushing it. Look at how cool this booth is. Look at these people lined up around here. Oh my gosh, I've got another friend who's promoting a project over here. I love that. It's
Mhm.
such a different experience from when you're a fan, which it's already amazing then. But when you've got skin in the game and your friends are there doing stuff, it's wild.
I know it is crazy because if you would have told me like, I don't know, 5 years ago that a bunch of my friends were gonna have panels and booths at Comic Con, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
believed it. You know what I mean? And then like last year was our first time ever going to Comic Con. And we came from behind where like that food court area is. So you go down the escalators and you can see like the overview of the floor. And I was like, David, where do you think Scott's booth is? Because we didn't know the layout. And the first biggest thing you see is Campbell, like the giant letters. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, we found it. And this year was really fun because you had the panel with Rob. Scott had some panels. Chris Sanders had his Wild Robot panel. Like it was just
Oh,
so cool to go from like supporting different friends' projects to, just such a fun time. And I got to
so
be there for
fun.
your first ever Comic Con panel, and it was
Which was
so
so
fun.
nice.
Front row. I was like, oh, so happy. And I was laughing my ass off at Louis Lombardi mentioning the pizza
Oh, the
company.
pizza.
Yeah. Oh, that
We
was
lost
so
the plot a
fun.
little bit on the panel, but it was fun. It's
Oh
good.
my gosh. Well, when and where can people listen to True Noir?
Oh, so we actually have pushed the date back because we've got some really killer people that have just been added to the cast. This is the great thing and terrifying thing about being friends with Rob is I just get a text when it's guess who we just got. And prior to me recording, that was also just a oh my god, I'm going to record with who? I'm going to do what with who? Um, Now we're on to Logan getting to experience that because he just found out who his scene partner is,
Oh,
and we all lost our minds. So we're making, I believe, some more announcements at New York Comic Con is the plan
ooh.
right now. That's all up to Rob and Mike,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
are other producer. Mike Bodwin is amazing. He's a
Mhm.
marketing genius. He has such great ideas about this whole concept. So I think we're looking at past October now, just for everything.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, there's also this killer crowdfunding campaign that Rob started, and it's for you to get physical media of the project. Everything's already paid for. It's just to help with the production of that and to get you guys to have stuff that's not digital that won't go away. There's like even a vinyl and stuff. So there's a lot of big concepts in the work and bigger names being added every moment. um, It was a weird, slow time in the industry. It still kind of is with the video game strike, the
Yeah,
animation issues right now, all kinds of stuff. So I think a lot of people are gravitating towards this because it's just beautifully
yeah.
written and unlike a lot of stuff that people are getting to do. So we're going to take a little extra time, but it should be out before the end of the year.
Oh, I can't wait. And I'll also put a link in the description of this video to the Kickstarter campaign so people can check that out and support it as well.
Thank you.
But Kris, it's been so nice catching up with you and seeing you for the first time since Comic-Con. I can't believe how much time has passed already. But in the
I
meantime,
hate it.
I know I hate it too.
I miss
Um,
I miss seeing you every day.
I know oh my God, I miss it too.
Those are the good times.
I miss just taking so many shots of questionable alcohol on air with you guys. Thinking back about it, it's like,
Professional.
yeah, like we're even the right alcohols in the right bottles on the show.
No, no, they weren't. It was just a hodgepodge. It was like when a kid gets too many sodas at a
Oh
machine.
my God. Yeah. Ugh.
Things fell.
Well, in the meantime, where can people follow you to keep up with your other upcoming projects and keep up with your podcast if you want to plug that as well?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I got a bunch of stuff in the works right now, actually. Amy Newman and I, we have a podcast that Taylor has been on twice, killing it. Called Two Filthy Casuals. We just hit 10,000 downloads, which is
Crazy.
really fun and awesome. Because we're just two dorks with like we sit here and ask people about fandom. It's great. So you can follow Two Filthy Casuals. We'd love for you to listen to that. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Kris Carr. I'm Kris with a K, Carr with two R's. And then we have our voiceover studio. It's a slow time, you guys. So it's a really good time to work on your materials, take classes, be ready when everything comes back. Our studio is called Speak Friends Studio. That's on Instagram. That's also our website, speaksfriendstudio.com. And that is myself and my husband Logan running it. I do a lot of the voiceover coaching. He does a lot of the dialect coaching. So even if you're not a voice actor, one, your agent wants you to take a voice acting class, I promise you. And two, if you need dialect work, he's your guy. We make demos and everything too. So hit us up. And that's pretty much it. I think those are all my
Yay.
things.
Perfect. Well, Kris, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I cannot wait for this to come out.
Thanks, Dave. Love you.
Love you. Bye.